Hey, what's going on YouTube? This is Sever7, and today we are taking a look at the Spyderco Spydie Chef, and that's with the ultimate goal of seeing if it's worth adding to your collection or your daily carry rotation. Now, this knife was sent in by Knife Dope, super dope guy. He was kind enough to send me four Spydercos after I told him that I'd never handled a Spyderco, or briefly handled a Spyderco, but hadn't really gotten to enjoy one. So I really appreciate that. I will link his socials and his YouTube channel down below. Definitely check him out. Awesome guy. Now, this knife was designed by, I'm going to butcher this name, but it's Marcin Sleesh, Marcin Sleesh, and the OEM is Spyderco. Now, we have a pretty simple setup here, but just jumping right into it, we've got this really nice, dark titanium. We've got more body screws than God. We do have a reversible pocket clip. This is a straight up shallow carry wire pocket clip. More body screws. I do appreciate that the hardware is all blacked out. I feel like we could have taken this in towards the scale, maybe just a 1/16 of an inch more, just to give us a little more access to the Spydie hole. And I know that doesn't seem like much, but this is so close to being awesome that I genuinely think a 1/16 of an inch would have made the difference, right? Because as it sits right now, if you've got chubby fingers, it's kind of hard to get to. I have quasi chubby fingers. All right, let's talk about the ergonomics. For starters, this lock bar access, which I know is assisted by this being so far spaced out, but this lock bar access is a dream. Just getting in here, I mean, your access is so easy, it's ridiculous. Love that. As far as the ergonomics go, we've got this nice little hump here, and then it allows the rest of your palm to kind of curve in and lock in. Once again, kind of like that pistol grip. So you can get up here nice and comfortable, and you can see the handle just kind of folds in, goes down your palm. Good 4-finger grip. I can hammer fist it if I need to. There isn't really a choke up position. You can rest on this if you really need to, and you're far enough away from that tip that you can lock in pretty tough and not have to worry about cutting yourself or anything like that. But if you slip forward even a little bit, it's going to get you. So I'd recommend staying back here. This is where it's the most comfortable. Obviously, this will become a hot spot if you squeeze too hard down on the knife, or if you're, if you're really going at something, as I always say, if you're white knuckling it, you're going to get hot spots back here, hot spots up here. But that's just kind of the nature of having, two pieces of titanium pinching your skin, right? If you hold it like normal, though, you're fine. Easy money. I can feel the pocket clip, but it's not a hot spot. It's just I know it's there. I really wish there would have been some sort of jimping, because this is where I naturally want to be. Stick my thumb out there. And while I can't really slide forward because of the finger guard, it still would have been nice to have some jimping to kind of lock into up here. But all in all, very comfortable knife. Talking about this blade, so to me, this is a sheep's foot all day. Because we've got a big belly, we've got kind of this weird nose. Although typically a sheep's foot, as I would classify it, would have a tip below the pivot. This really feels like the way you're going to be using this knife is kind of like this. Like you're going to have it angled down. The way you use it is going to be, tip below the pivot. So even though it doesn't look like it necessarily, you're going to be using the knife kind of like this, right? So the tip will end up below the pivot when you use it. So I still classify it as a sheep's foot. But let me know if you disagree down in the comments. I'd love to hear other, what do they call them? Well, them. What do they call me? whenever you're like the type of person that like is really specific about blade shapes, I know there's a term for it. Metal Complex is given a term for it. I know like we're insufferable, but I just see a blade and I know exactly what I want to call it, and I know what my justification for it is like immediately. That doesn't mean I'm right. I might be completely wrong, but if I have a justification for it, then you know, then I feel like I'm pretty right. So, but let me know. Anytime you disagree with my blade shape, let me know down in the comments. I'd be really eager to hear some other arguments. Now, this blade steel is coming in at LC200N. This is best known for rust-proof performance and toughness. So it's going to be good for like hard use, wet environments, things like that. We do have I want to say it's a full flat grind. Yeah. I don't think it's hollow. And we have this beautiful belt satin. It looks absolutely fantastic. The blade is stunning. And for performance work, I can tell you, I haven't done a ton with it, but I've taken it through some boxes, and this thing pretty much glides through effortlessly. I mean, like you guys know, my Spyderco experience is really limited. But once I got over the looks, and I actually started to think they looked really cool, the performance is really sinking in. Like these things do perform on another level, and I can see why they're priced the way that they are. Now let's talk about the action. We're on washers, and you know, the difference between washers and bearings is going to be like ball bearings, right? So your blade is going to rotate on two bearings that have, you know, somewhere between 8 and 24 balls in them. With washers, they're just flat washers, which means you're not going to get that drop shut action, right? Until it breaks in. Now, you can still flick it out just fine, but until the washers truly break in, you're not going to see that drop shut, which is fine. I actually really enjoy washer action. I don't compare it to, I don't compare it to bearings. That was because I hit the table. That's why the flip failed, not because of the knife. I don't compare it to bearings because they're two different use cases and two different feels. Whenever I think of washer action, I think, can I deploy it? That's a big bonus, right? If I can't flick it out, then how's the thumb roll? Well, the thumb roll feels great. And you get to basically glide up and then lock in. So it's its own type of fidgety. And then whenever we disengage, we get a little bit of that, right? We start to see a little bit of that drop shut. And then from here, you just grab it and close it. And the more you fidget with it, the more it breaks in. And over time, washers can get as smooth as bearings. I won't say smoother, but it'll have a more luxurious feel to it. Like you can get hydraulic close on washers, and it feels fantastic. The acoustics on the way up are great. The acoustics on the way down, when you manually close it, are pretty non-existent. So no big deal. It is what it is. But overall, the action, I would say, for washers is pretty spot on. It feels really good. I could definitely fidget with this all day. You know, reverse flick is easy. Thumb flick is easy. Slow roll is delightful. All good stuff. All right, let's get some size comparisons. And I don't have any of the knives that I normally do, so let me just do a size comparison here with this guy. Probably my favorite of the bunch so far. And I forgot the name of it already. I'm sure you guys are yelling at me in the comments. And let's go ahead and do the Kaiser Mini Mystic. And let's go ahead and do the Spyderco Manix 2. All right, so about the same size as the Manix, definitely bigger than the Kaiser Mini Mystic. Overall, you're looking at 7.78 inches, 3.32 inches of blade, a 0.8 blade to handle ratio, which looks off to me. I'm not sure if that math is mathing out, but we'll go with it for now. I'm just curious, actually. Hold on. Yeah? Okay. So it looks like... Okay, it actually looks like a 3.5-inch blade. And a 7.78 overall. These websites have got to get their act together with these measurements. I should just do them manually from now on. And then we have an overall weight of 3.8 ounces. What's the price on this bad boy? Well, this guy's coming in at $303. Made in Taiwan. So the price is going to be a little bit higher because Taiwan manufacturing or Taiwanese manufacturing is way more expensive than Chinese. Not as expensive as the US, but still really expensive compared to China. So at $303, you're getting a hard use, rust proof, full titanium Spyderco construction with a deep or a full flat grind. And overall, even though I don't have extensive experience with Spydercos, this thing has worked near flawlessly as a good tool. Not the greatest in the aesthetics department. I mean, it's definitely got some personality. But, I can say if you need something that is going to be hard use, that's going to have, ultimate corrosion resistance, in something that's fairly tough, I don't know that it has the best edge retention. You might have to take a field sharpener with you. But I feel very confident this thing will work really well as a daily carry. Not really well. I think it'll work out amazing. I'm going to put this in the pocket for a little bit longer before I send it back. But I am thoroughly impressed with this knife. And I think at $303, Taiwanese made with everything you're getting here, yeah, I think that's a fantastic value. As long as you like the aesthetic. And as long as LC200N is the type of blade steel that you can benefit from, right? If you need, toughness, something that's less likely to chip or break, if you need something that's going to be essentially rust proof, use it near the water, camping, stuff like that. If you value those things, you don't mind the aesthetic, yeah, I think this is a great knife. So far, my experience with Spyderco has been, I'm really impressed. I think they're doing great stuff. So, for me, this would be a daily user, all day, every day, because that's exactly what it's built for. And I feel like my collecting has always been based on Safe Queens, but all these knives that I'm getting in that I don't normally get to review or I don't normally interact with, they're screaming users to me. And I think the reason my Safe Queens weren't doing that is because I wasn't buying users, right? I would buy a knife that I thought was really pretty, that was a Safe Queen, and I'd get it and I'd be like, there's no way in heck I'm using this. But all these knives that are coming in, I tell you what, guys, like, I can see why people use the crap out of some of their knives, because you get some in hand and you're like, you should not be in a case. You should be like by my side, ride or die. Backyard, gardening, fishing, in the truck, you know what I'm saying? So tell me down in the comments, is this something that you would buy? Would it be a daily carry? Would it be a collector's piece? Or does this knife miss the mark for you completely? Let me know. I'm interested to hear your thoughts. Outside of that, if you found the video useful, hit the like button, please. Don't forget to subscribe. And until the next time, guys, peace.